You go to a doctor and you're looking for your cure. You got major depression. So it went to all these diagnoses of the DSM manual rubbish. I'm angry. Yeah, I was very angry, and thinking about it hasn't helped. I'm trying to let it go and leave Canada. I feel very abused by pharmaceutical drugs. It threw me off the whole picture of taking drugs. For years, my mother sent me to a psychiatrist. There was always drugs. And then she was a nurse. She knew a doctor's wife that was using niacin and things like that. Oh, it wasn't heard of. Yeah. Wow. It was right. True Hope got me well. And Reiki got me well. I'm living with a trauma that I can't get over, and I feel abused. Just a second, I'll throw this on the charger. But let me tell you about this trauma of psychiatry. They were just upping the dose all the time. It was getting worse and worse and worse. Now I had choices with True Hope, and here was the choice. Do you want to continue? Oh, there goes the phone. Do you want to continue taking these drugs? I said, do I have a choice? Yeah, we can get you off them. They got me off them. I was on 28 pharmaceutical drugs. Now, I get a problem with people saying everything's a scam. I get a problem with that. You try something and you guided to it. There was a man of God that taught me that in the United States. I met him on Facebook. He says, give it a try, Greg. You'll get well. I got well. It was killing me. I was bouncing off the walls with these psychotropic drugs. I think I was misdiagnosed because I've been studying psychology and trauma. I'm a victim of armed robbery. I've had a lot of history of really traumatic events that you might not say is trauma. Animal abuse is trauma. And I've been trying to deal with it with positive affirmations and meditation. I do Reiki. It's frustrating. And I walked along, and here's a young man, homeless. Why? Well, he's on psychiatric drugs for bipolar. He can't talk right. I thought there's something wrong. It's psychiatric drugs. Psychotropics. Are they good for people? I don't think so. If there's a cure, use it. Dr. Abraham Hoffer talked about this. And they sued Bell. It makes me frustrated that they had to sue them because they shut them. They shut them down. They shut True Hope down. You know, that was a prayer to God to come up with an answer, and it worked. But it just seems so to doctors of that racket. Pharmaceutical junk. Anger, yeah. I gotta let this go. I'm trying to get the files closed so I can leave Canada. I don't want to live here anymore with that sort of stuff. They're giving out assisted death now. I don't need that. So I'm going to go back to True Hope and get the balance on micronutrients because I'm living in a trauma zone where he almost killed me. 28 pharmaceutical junk drugs. None of them working, just making me sick. I can't believe our healthcare system promotes that stuff. And then on here, you're talking about lithium, you're talking about garbage. I won't take it. Am I doing harm? The police checked me out. They said, Greg, you're a nice guy. You don't break the law. I don't smoke dope. I used to drink like hell because I had trauma. PTSD, compound trauma. So I started studying. It's hard to get my head together all the time. I need True Hope now. And I need essential oils. And I'm thinking, if I can't afford anything here, I'm going to move to Alberta where I can get True Hope. And it's up in Raymond, Alberta. And they moved the manufacturing shipment area down to Utah. This stuff is proven by Dr. Abram Hofford that was hidden away, that was a psychiatrist, that he can get people well. University of Saskatoon fact out for Saskatchewan. It works. Micronutritional supplementation. Food. You know, the elements of mental health are positive attitude you read these books like self-help books. They're always running down self-help. Well, there's a lot of junk out there. But Napoleon Hill was not junk. He was not junk. He was truthful. You know, all the theories that you talk about no flat, ejaculation and stuff. That's Napoleon Hill. Using the sexual energy and as a creative force in making money. Crazy, eh? He was in the 1940s. He was coming up with all this stuff. My friend studied Napoleon Hill. He's a billionaire. And people won't listen to the old stuff, but that stuff's good. So Napoleon Hill had a book. I'm just reading it. Positive affirmations. You know, if you focus on good things, your life gets better. But if I'm not focused on it, that memory comes up. And it's horrible living here thinking about that guy walking around. He almost killed me. Forgive, Greg, forgive. But they're still pushing that stuff. You know, a good psychiatrist would not do that. A good psychiatrist would have enough education. I hear this works. Holistic medicine. But why do we do this? We have these studies by corporations and drug companies. My friend said, be careful with them. They're the ism, man. No, he's going to help me. He's a professional. He's a psychiatrist. And then I meet doctors, and I always had this aversion to medicine. I met some doctors yesterday. People are dying of COVID. I agree with them. It's not hurting me, the COVID. But I talked to some older women here in this apartment. Now, they are healthy, older women, and they say, yeah, we should have the COVID virus, but we should not be eating canned junk food. We should be eating good food. So this is a problem with Ontario. I keep on saying I'm going to stay, but the cost of everything is going up so much, and there's no services to help me through it. I think I can make it out in Alberta. But, you know, I keep on going back and forth, and they'd say that's bipolarity. Well, I'll tell you something. When I was in Alberta, I locked myself into a psych ward with that record. I didn't take drugs. They just said, you got problems, Greg. You're too nice to people. You care about people. Well, as a Reiki master, I took those vows. You know, I was having so many imbalances. I went to a Reiki practitioner, and I was noticing changes. So you say it's a dogma. I don't think so. Working on animals. And here's my problem. Could I get ahead? I'm just putting this on charge. Working at Reiki and start selling this stuff and getting people well. You know, what works? She lives in Calgary. She taught me Reiki. 3 levels. Now, I got high blood pressure because the family stole money on me. Why? Because I went against the pharmaceutical garbage. Maybe I shouldn't have. But they don't like me. So they influenced my brother and manipulated the state. That's not a psychiatric drug. It's a blood pressure pill. It works. Now, here's the model of blood pressure. Your blood pressure's up. That's a transition. You work on getting your health right, exercise, diet comes in. I've gone through a lot of trauma with that psychiatry. Back here remembering it. One night it was so bad I was bouncing off the walls. And then I read an article in LinkedIn by a psychiatrist in the United States. They were using Latuda, a very heavy drug. And it was above the limit. It was 250 milligrams. They advised 5 maximum. But he said in his study, the psychiatrist shouldn't use that. The drug companies make it fit to everything. I was dying. I was trying to kill myself on my 60th birthday. I can remember that day. I went to a therapist and I said, how do you feel? Suicidal. So they called the cops in. Cops came in and talked to me. I think you've had too many drugs, Greg. They marched me over and we talked. And this room is a emergency room for mental health problems. The door stays open, sir. Why? Because I started caring about them. They're facing gunshots and everything. You're one hell of a nice man. Oh, my cousin's a police officer. And I've made friends with police. And I really want better health care in Canada. Trauma therapy is major. I'm a victim of armed robbery too. I watched my mother die of DDT exposure. It made me sick. But they kept on saying it's hereditary. Well, I started reading audiobooks, like Dr. Gabamate, wonderful doctor, then methanormal. Lou Gehrig's disease is a hereditary disease. But the other ones, yeah, there's no proof to it. But what I've studied on with PTSD and compound and our ancestral trauma is it manipulates the DNA molecules in our genome to resist all this trauma. I come from a military family. My father was World War I. My mother, World War II, Australia. But go back into her history. Aboriginal Irish. Taken away from her family. I found that out when I was in Australia. So she had the lost generation. She was from Ballarat. I think it's traumatized. And then I've traveled to Canada, and I'm with so many First Nations people who have gone through so much. And they got this traumatic problem in their lives. He was 19 years old, Sioux Nation, and he was, what do you call it? His mother was an alcoholic. So he got alcohol syndrome from at birth. He was born an alcoholic. You know, First Nations people I've been with, the Blackfoot, the Cree, the Mohawk, every one of them, including the Métis. The trauma is always there. To heal the past is to hear, I am sorry. And that's what they did in Australia. Heal my past, I'd like to hear a reply from that psychiatrist that's retired. I am sorry, I've made a mistake. No compensation, nothing. So I talked to lawyers. Oh, you went to them and trusted them. I go to a business and they do something to me, and because I trust them, they're service. And if they do wrong action, I trusted him. So what did he tell me? Oh, don't take that True Hope. That's pig pills. And then he saw me get well. I got a friend that's got major trauma. They say he's schizophrenic. Well, he buys into this and he won't get off that stuff and he won't try True Hope, but they won't let him because he had he had a mental health problem. He tried to kill somebody. So you got to do something there. It upsets me that he believes. You know what I say? Let him take the True Hope and stay on the medication and see how he does. And then maybe you'll see changes. But he won't take it. He says it's a scam. It's sad he's bought into it. And that's what they do. They make you feel that you are sick. And it's a privilege to be sick. And that's what they were doing with me. Oh, there's a lot of famous people bipolar. And a lot of famous people are dead. And there's other people that got well. I'm a talented musician. I'm a talented person. I have a lot of issues. I live here and I can't keep the money in. And it's just, it might be my mania or it's just the trauma. I need some help. And I got a guy here I think I can talk to. And I got another young lady here that I talk to with mental health that is spiritual. And she likes learning from me. So I read the Course in Miracles. It's helping me. It's a beautiful foundation. Because I went into atheism, listening to Dawkins and this stuff. Somebody asked me at the hospital, why are you so sensitive? I'm an empath. And listening to the news with the Israel, Tel Aviv, the Gaza Strip really bothers me. Because I've had Jewish friends. And I don't like getting into duality and going anti-Semitic. And that's what's really bothering me. The Semitic garbage going on right now. And yeah, people are dying and Palestinians are dying, children and everything. I don't even want to get into it. The dualistic arguments. Everything's dualistic. So my phone broke down and I had no computer. It wasn't on social media. There was no arguments. I noticed my life was starting to get better. So I write down in a notebook, and I'm all alone half the time. Living here, I meet people and I talk. But I sit and write with a pen and paper. And I'm putting it down on my computer and taking notes. I like that. I do these blogs here because I'm trying to relate to you because you're probably gone through it. True Hope worked for me. Thank you, Raymond, Alberta, for that. I thank you that you won the case against Health Canada. And I thank you for the people you've treated. And I thank you so much at the bottom of my heart. I love what his son had bipolar. He was paranoid. His head was clouded. And he tried him on it. His head started to clear up. He got well. They had to hog time down to get him lithium in them. You know, he says, Dad, I was up in Edmonton. What about that, son? I met a nice girl. Tell me about it. She's got bipolar. That's no problem. We'll get her on Trudeau. They got married and they got children. God bless. God bless. Because I believe in God. I think psychiatry is taking God out of the picture. You know, the metaphysical principles of life, the faith. We are spiritual beings. And anybody I've seen heal, who was it's the spiritual part of us. Like when I was an alcoholic, I had to say the Serenity Prayer. I meet other alcoholics. Oh no, I'm an atheist. So they're bitter. I got sober. It was who started that? It was Jung, Carl Gustav Jung, the 12-step program. 12 steps get people off drugs, they get them off gambling, they help people. And we gather around in a group and we say the Serenity Prayer. You know, one of the greatest things when I was an alcoholic, this woman was running them down. They're my sponsors. And I had a hell of a time. It was really sad. I was wanting a drink. I couldn't get my head together. Kenny came. I went over to his place. You feel like a drink? Yeah. Well, right now we'll have a tea, eh? Just for the day, we'll have a tea. Just keep that going, Greg. He was really kind to me. He was a drunk. Drunks helping drunks? They're not drunks when they've gone into sobriety. And we sat there and had a cup of tea. And he taught me something. He was my sponsor. How many people in Al-Anon, AA, it's a good thing to get sober. I was drinking like a fish. It was gambling, horse racing. But we get addicted. We get in the wrong path of life. You know another thing, people? You're not a drunk if you've sobered up. You're not a drug addict. He's been 5 years off drugs. He's not a drug addict. He's recovered. I pat that young man on the back. I think he's cool. You know, a criminal that's reformed is not a criminal. Let's talk about this. He's a biker, and he's not a criminal. I mean, he was 18 years old. He got out of a bad gang. They took a shotgun, went into a bank, and robbed it. He spent time in prison. So he's driving along. And a police officer, Ontario Provincial, says, "Get out of the car." "Yes, sir." Look down. He looked down and he had his hand out like that. I want to shake it. 35 years straight is making my job worth doing. That warmed my heart. It's when we recover from things, we are healed. And that takes our inner essence of learning who we are and saying, humbly, I made a mistake. Not these guys to go out and say, it's just the court system and look at me. I don't like that. We've lost a lot of police officers. I like law and order, and I like justice, and I like people to reform. But how will you do this? Do I force you? I can throw you in jail. You just keep on going back and coming out and going back and coming out. Well, I got scammed online from Montreal. Listen to this. He said, maybe equine assisted therapy is doing something good. And the cop, he says, you're in a crime zone and you're just over the county line. We don't have it here. I'm going to look this up. What did it say? Department of Justice said a gala program. Instead of taking him back, a gala is a horse therapy program. They put them in these horse therapy treatments. It takes the edge of that anger off. Because most of these young people that are on drugs and stuff have got a lot of anger. And they got a lot of trauma. I guess it's a collective. I talked to an OPP psychologist. It's a Jungian collective going on right now of all this harm. And it's just continuing. Now, I'm going to talk to you about crisis workers of the Ontario Provincial Police. She is the kindest woman I've ever met. And she's spiritual because she has compassion for women that are facing sexual abuse. She's a police officer. There's a lot of good cops out there. My other friend's a police first class constable. He is the nicest guy. And I lost my brothers, but they call me bro. I love that. They don't call me sir anymore. They don't call me Greg. They call me brother. It's the most heartfelt thing I've ever had in my life. And they can talk to me. Canadian military talk to me. And they open up. Oh boy, they open up. I don't know. It's the empathic part of me. I talked to another therapist. They open up to you? Yeah, they tell me the horriblest things. So how do I deal with it? Because I'm compassionate. How do I deal with it? Another therapist said I couldn't do it. I can't do this anymore. I'm burning out with empathy. Well, Graham Nicholson had a program on Udemy from England, and he taught Ho'oponopono with EFT tapping. This tapping program is a good thing for emotional. And you don't shut down your emotions. You develop a methodology of dealing with people. The Ho'oponopono is clearing a path for them to express their feelings. They need that. Even a therapist, he's a psychiatrist, but he says, I do not judge them. I keep my mouth. They look like I'm calm and I'm looking directly at them. And they're releasing a lot of things. And he says, I keep my mouth that it's relaxed and they know I'm not reacting to these horrible things that are going on. So compound PTSD is this. It surfaces not very well. It's hidden away for self-preservation. And unfortunately, all my trauma is bubbled up bit by bit. And I've been clearing it. And I'm very intuitive. I have a woman in the Philippines, so she wrote me. And all of a sudden, I just picked up. Did you have somebody running you down when you're a young woman? Yeah, these other ladies. I want you to write it down, Jenna. Write it down and burn it. Thank you, Greg. Because she's having financial problems with her daughter and she loves her children. That is very beautiful. And I'm picking these things up. I said, write it down, burn that. That's the type of psychology I use. These are gotta be cut stories. They're just horrible. And they continue on. A lot of young women, my wife was like that. Her brothers were drunks. They almost raped her, she told me. Drunks do crazy things, even if they're a sibling. And it's just, she wouldn't look after herself. She wouldn't look after herself. She had type 2 diabetes. I'd take her to a specialist. She'd be eating 5 quarts ice cream and shooting insulin in. Her blood sugars went down so low. She has dementia really bad. She hallucinates and sees lights in the sky and everything. And she calls me dirty names. I love her, so I let it go. But I remember the day I was breaking up with her after 27 years. I went to the crystal shop. I'm really hurting, brother. He was a Reiki master, too. Take that tiger eye and hold it and release it. Oh, it hurts so bad. 27 years of devotional marriage. The lawyer said you have to get a divorce or you're going to die. I loved her. I put all my heart and soul into doing things. But you can't make women do anything they don't want. They feel it's control. And it's the repressive way men have been treating women for years. And I talk to a lot of women, especially single moms. Guys, come on, quit running down single moms. They're suffering. They look at all you guys running and misogyny and stuff on here. And they want to kill themselves if they didn't have their children. I don't like that. They need to get off social media when you got these misogynists. Guys, you got a problem with women. Remember your mother. Remember your aunt. Remember all the great ladies in your life. Maybe they're not your girlfriends. But I'll tell you, life isn't easy, is it? It's this. So I play blues, and I met a top blues player. He was doing a lot of drugs. What did he do? Who doesn't? He released the attachment of all that pain with the principle of the sensation of life is suffering, right? Sensation, not suffering. Inside, we calm the inner seas of all this pain. It's a form of Buddhist psychology is a form of emotional intelligence. So there's 3 intelligences. Intellectual, which is a tool. That's only a tool. And emotional intelligence. People right now are losing their emotional intelligence. Very intelligent people. They are losing it. And that emotional intelligence is causing their burnout, their anxiety, and everything. And I'm meeting CEOs of companies burning out. He said on LinkedIn, he says, I get mad and I'm going to stay mad. CEO of the company. Yeah, I met one in Calgary. He's burnt completely out. It's all right to have the emotion, anger, but don't hold on to it. Because the anger will pull you down. Like I'm talking here and I'm releasing a lot of that psychiatric garbage that I'm trying to forgive. Being able to talk about it on here is helping. But I sure don't like being diagnosed. When I do Reiki, I do not diagnose. When I do Reiki, I do not try to influence the energy. I've been told that by clients. No, I don't do that because I'm not a healer. I'm just conduit. And that's the crazy thing that people don't understand. Drugs have an intention to maybe cure things. There's no intention there. It's just spiritual energy coming in and cutting all this. It's God coming in. And if I got to get religious, I'm going to say what Jesus said to the blind man that used faith. The blind man went and touched his robes, and Jesus, he could see. Why? Jesus said, then your faith has made you whole. It's not their robes. The placebo effect? Yeah. We can put faith into a pill that might be just sugar, and it might make us well. That's how that works. It's what we put faith into. Some people heal with pharmaceutical drugs, so can I say it's wrong? Sure didn't heal me, but then I'm an individual. I think it's the amount of drugs that I was on. Okay, let's put it that way. The amount of medications, it was horrible. And not looking at the situation. He's getting worse. Yeah, it was really bad. I was 366 pounds. I had all these autoimmune diseases. I couldn't walk. I was falling down. I was hitting my head. And I had autoimmune diseases. I was walking on a walker in a wheelchair with drugs. I'd like to forget that and forgive and cut cords with the pain of that suffering. I know it's in the past. It's about 8 years ago. That's how long I've been off drugs. Being all over Canada. I've had a lot of hardships, but why am I having them? Stories in my head. I don't seem to save money well. I need to up the income. And it's just getting tough. Everything keeps breaking down. My iPhone costs a fortune. It's just broken down about 3 times, and they won't pay for it. So what do? I write and figure out things, but I worry all the time. When you get in financial trouble, you're getting into hell. So I know now in Canada, it's either leave the country, do or die, or make a bit of money. If I'm making money, I'm going to be happier and fix up this apartment. I can get furniture in here cheap. And it's all this people that overspend. That's where I get it. And it's nice stuff. But I can't live on nothing. The food prices are increasing. And I'm living alone. So I had to find some friendship. I have him coming in on Tuesday. And I'm going to talk to him. He's a nice young man. And I'll tell you, I was so mad at him. I couldn't find the chargers to my razor. I found them. Need to wash some clothes up. I do a lot of things and I just get into these problems. Trying to improve my life and being honest with myself. I'm not a clean, tidy man. I need to shave. I need to have a shower. What time is she? She's getting a little late, but I could go downstairs. I'm going to pack up some laundry and get cooking things up. But, I keep on looking at, don't feel well. What's going to make me better? Instead of going out, I look around. Hey, maybe I should play the piano, put some strings on my guitar. Maybe I should study, read some books, listen to some music. It works. It doesn't cost a lot of money. And then it's the way we think all the time. So you could say I'm bipolar. No, I'd say I'm traumatized. I came back here to do a lawsuit. 4 years and I couldn't get a lawyer here. Alberta, I can get a lawyer. But I'm sort of in a effie point if I can get housing out there. So everybody's moved out there. Where do I live? Well, I like the smaller areas. I was trying to Strathmore, but just near Cobble area, and it's getting a little pricey. But what's more expensive, the more pension you get and get the business going. What I like about it is I got Lisa out there. She's helped me with the taro oils. I want to get to Australia. So what's the steps? I got to write them down. Step is to get the birth certificate. I got to go through those files there. He lost them. This young guy. He was moving me out fast. I've been here 4 years. And I could say everything's bad. Like I wasn't getting in with that swipe. The swipe key. Oh, the door's busted. No. Neighbor says, go down, swipe it every month. Just run it through. It charges up. Damn, I went down. She was right. Sometimes it does. She says you got to do it every month. No, see, you don't know everything. And you'd be grateful for that from an older woman that's been here for a long time. Nice lady. I'm going to look at the pluses. I look around here, I get called boomer. There's a young lady comes up here and loves her grandmother, and she's seeing him every week. So is all young people bad? No. She's a good girl. And I tell her that, you're a nice young woman. Think about it. Not everybody lives